What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube, man? I'm gonna do these shots out real fast before I get into it, man. Kenneth Smith, man. Kevin Turner, man. Monster Cody, man. Brian Blake, Backbone. Travis and Hutchinson, man. BR4 TV, RC, Aunt Darren Franklin. Mario Cox, man. Nashville OG, for sure. Know what I mean? Fat man, let's go. Know what I mean? Mr. Humbre Guru. I'm gonna mess this up, man. Fat man, let's go, man. Stephen Hoffman, man. Arnold Walken, man. Marcus Zay Wells, man. Life NP, man. PK Dingles, man. Shield BC High. I can't get it right. Monster Code again. I see. Oh man, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? That's on that last video, man. I appreciate everybody who chimed in, though, man. Everybody who viewed the video, man. Let me go ahead and start this video off by saying that I know that I've been getting a lot of requests to do more content, and I promise you, I do want to do more content, but I'm gonna be very transparent. The way my life set up right now at this moment, that I don't really have. I be having to carve out time. Like that's why I be in here. Eyes be bloodshot, red, tired. I be getting off from work, or I had to go do some deal with my daughter. Whatever it is. Trust me, it don't have anything to do with me not being dedicated to the channel, because that's why I suck it up to be able to do videos. Now, at one point in time, I was trying to do multiple videos at once. You know, like I sit out and just do like hammer out like 2-3 videos. That's what my mindset was. But a phone call here, situation there, I got to go deal with. You know what I mean? And I can't do it. But I apologize for that, because I have noticed that my views go down because people lose interest because you're not keeping yourself in the algorithm. But like I said, I didn't start this channel with the mindset of thoughts of saying, hey, I'm going to make millions of dollars, or that I can just do this here on a regular basis. I actually did it for the reason that I said I did it, and that's to give back something that I took away to save a life. And if I can do that, every time I get on here and tell one of these stories by telling my story, and it won't become your story. So that's my whole mission. You know what I'm saying? And one of my subscribers and followers hit me in the comments. I looked everywhere. I couldn't find it, so I'm paraphrasing. Basically what he said, that he turned on his nephew to the channel. He's 22 years old, and the nephew is now going to diesel mechanic school. He said, that's a life. And I appreciate that. He shared that moment with me, because I promise you, man, that meant a lot for me. Man. I promise you. And that, saying that, is the reason why I'm coming back to this story here. But before I start the story, man, I need you to like, share, comment, hit me, hype me up, man. It ain't gonna cost you, man, with one Japanese yen and some hype points. You ain't hyping nobody else. You better not be cheating on me. No, but seriously, man. Let's get to it, man. So, I'm going to take y'all back to Leesburg. I ain't did a video on that in a minute, man. I'm tell y'all about this dude King, right? So, let me start it off, because it's the only way I can start it off. It was my belief when I was in prison that it was my job, my duty, my designated duty to give the younger dudes advice on about how to do their time and do their time to the point where they can actually get out and accomplish something, not come back. So what I'm saying? So basically what I'm saying is I would teach them, tell them things like, go get your GED, bro. If they got trades to offer, go get a trade. Learn as much as you can. Get as much information as you can, because this is your opportunity not to have to deal with everything on the outside world, that you have a chance to sit down, reflect, think about all the bad things that you done did that ended up in this situation. Because most people only remember the last thing they did when they came off the street, which is whatever you did. And that's what they always think about. They always go back to that moment. If this hadn't happened that way, I could have got away. But if not that day, the next day. The reality of it is that we take steps to get to the point of getting in prison. Most of us do. You know what I mean? I know when I jumped off the porch, I didn't go to prison the next day. I did things to build myself up to the point where I ended up incarcerated in prison. That's what it does. But like I said, and so what I tell the young dudes, like, bro, think about it. Chill, folks. You know what I mean? Hey, reflect. Look back at the mistakes you made for you won't repeat the mistakes. Accountability. Be accountable for the mistakes that you made. For that way, you won't overlook it when you see it coming again. Because you're going to make other mistakes. Be accountable for it. That's the only way you're going to learn and grow from it. And be at peace with your current situation where you can be able to move forward from it and grow from it and never allow yourself to be back in that situation ever again. This is the things that I tried to give the people, the younger cats that came in after me. But for every one me, is 10 kings. So let's get it. This dude King, right? When I first met him down there, so I'm gonna explain how we ended up linking up. So, boom, I got to Leesburg. Leesburg had 3 channels on their TV, and those 3 channels was basically just local channels, local news and everything else. So, what I ended up doing was I got my people to get me a subscription of the money that they was getting from my folks in. They sent and basically get me a subscription, newspaper subscription. Whether or not she used that money, I think they got the subscription on their own. I do not know. But they got me a newspaper subscription for Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And they sent it down to Leesburg. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And so with that, it gave the dudes from Atlanta an opportunity to connect back to the city of Atlanta. Because we don't know nothing about Leesburg is in Albany. We don't know nothing about Albany, bruh. Outside of people down there from Albany, man. You know what I mean? We don't know nothing. We don't know nothing about what's going on, nor do we care. So, you know, you try to reach back to what you are familiar with. So I got the paper in, and it just come in just about every day, every other day, and stuff like that. So all the dudes from Atlanta that was in the dormitory used to come up to my room. And basically, you know, we'll read the newspaper, pass it around. I didn't mind. You know what I'm saying? And you know, some dudes from outside of it used to do it as well. But the dude King, when he came in the dorm and stuff like that, he was talking to my partner, little man. You know, he was chopping up with him more so than me. And little man like, yeah, man, you know, home right there. Goddamn, you know what I mean? That bro. You know what I mean? That bro, he cool people. This is what little man is telling King. I walked to a point and said, that bro, he cool people. He said, man, I heard you from the city. I said, nah, not really. But you know what I mean? But I'm from the city. That makes sense. He like, man, yeah, man. And then little man was like, yo, you know, his sons were down there. I was like, who? And he told me their name. I'm not gonna mention their name. I said, yeah, I remember them little bad folks. They was bad. They was bad. King is from Zone 3. 4th season, Tommyville. That's where he's from. He over there in that area. So he was like, yeah, man, yeah, you know, with my sons and stuff like that. I like, yeah. I said, yeah, man. He said, but bye. He said, man, I know, bro. Because they had like a decade to do. And I'm like, look at them like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I know, man. I said, this is generational stuff. You know what I mean? You in prison, your kids in prison and stuff like that. So King used to always pull up to the room and stuff like that, read the newspaper. We ended up building up a good relationship, honestly, over time. You know what I mean? Talking to it, chopping it up and stuff like that. But he was in on a small bid. He didn't have a lot of time. And see, just the thing is I said about dudes like him. I like, man, dudes like him can stay coming in and out or going back. You know what I mean? Prison. He's a career criminal. That's what he do. You know what I'm saying? He probably gonna be out probably a year. As far as I know, he might be back in now. Hold up, let me explain something to King about King. King was older than me. he was like probably a generation or two ahead of me. And when I say a generation or two, I'm not talking about, as far as family or as the world go. I'm talking about the streets. Meaning, if he was a generation or two before me, he probably been hustling since like the late 80s. That's what I'm saying. Um, where my generation would probably be claiming like the 90s to up the 95, 96, and then the generation that this is what I'm speaking of. Because I would do like the little 5-year runs in between each generation because things start changing as far as when it comes to the streets. You know what I mean? Mindset, thought, the 10-year-olds now 15. So now they out there doing their thing, and then the 15-year-olds now 20. You get where I'm coming from. So that's why I'm saying he's a couple of generations ahead of me. He was cool. Like I said, we built up a good rapport. He was funny, dude. You know what I mean? But it was things about him that I had noticed that his sense of morality didn't exist. What do I mean? Meaning that he didn't view his situation as an avenue to take advantage of the situation and try to change who he was. He would always look at the last thing he do and just run off that mistake and try to correct it and go back and do the same thing, expecting a different result and end up back in the same situation. But it don't work for him because he feel like whatever punishment they give me does not outweigh the game. He told me he never worked the job. He said, I worked the job for 1 week and I couldn't deal with it. I didn't want to do it. So I'm just explaining you who this King dude is before I get to the meat of the story. It was this young dude that came into our dormitory. You know what I mean? And I never spoke to the dude, never heard a word with it. But I would see King was always over there talking to the young dude. Like every time I turn around, King was talking to him. Like they had started building up a rapport and kicking it. So at first, I'm thinking to myself, I said, man, I hope King ain't finagling and trick me and he on some fun and fugazi ass dumb shit. Because a lot of time when these young dudes come to prison, they end up getting pulled in by the older cats. And at that moment in time in prison, a lot of those dudes, well, hold on, let me say that. At that point in time, my point in time in prison, coming from ALTO, that's what these dudes either be trying to do. They trying to manipulate these young dudes, get them in an uncompromised position, use their goddamn fear and unsteadiness to try to, essay them. Well, I didn't understand prison outside the goddamn scope of ALTO at the time because I only been to ALTO in Leesburg at that point in time in my beat. So I'm like, man, I hope home ain't no flugazi nonsense with this young dude, man. Come on, man. Because if he is, I'm going to have a problem with it, a real serious problem with it. Because I see how Leesburg is. Leesburg is not that type of camp where the dude had to worry about having his manhood tested and taken from him. You know what I mean? Most of these predators that's running around, at that point, they got them a boy. And they old. But King is young enough to be in between both of them, where he's not old, but he's not young. And he's a seasoned veteran, even though at that point in time, he was on like his second or third year of prison on this bid. But he been in and out all his life. So even though this dude just walked in and he just been in there for like 3 years on this bid, but he done been back and forth to prison about 4, 5 times, 3, 4 years. He just like a 20-year vet, honestly. Because he done seen all the ins and outs and all the changes and all the phases of prison go on. But like I said, he was talking to dude every day. Yada, yada, whoop, then in the third. Now, like I said, I hope I get one now, but I was like, nah, it probably ain't there. That little man, being a little man, he said, shit, I don't know what how John got on. Ain't got nothing to do with me. And so, moon about his business. You know what I'm saying? Because, little man was on some shit. Nigga got to figure it out on his own. Meaning the young dude. Now, I can respect that because he would give it to him exactly how he said. See, here's the thing. A lot of time when you young, you first come into prison, because when I first walked in, you're nervous, you're unsure. You in the goddamn lake full of sharks. You don't know if you're gonna be able to swim. You don't know if you're gonna be able to survive this situation, man. You don't know what gonna happen, homie. And a lot of time what dudes would do is they would try to find somebody who been established or seem like they're established and latch on to them, especially if they're introduced to a conversation. You are trying to learn the ins and outs of prison. So you ask questions. And these dudes see that you are naive. The older cats, they manipulate you, man. They still do it today. All these stories are recyclable. I don't give a damn if it's Lee Bird or Waycroft, Valdosta, ALTO, Reedsville, or goddamn Washington State Prison. I wouldn't give a damn. All these stories are recyclable. Some may be more violent, and what happened to you may be way worse. But what I'm telling you, this part is recyclable. These older inmates, one way or another, is gonna prey on your young behind when you come in there. And when I say prey, I'm not talking about trying to take your manhood. They're gonna manipulate you to get you to do something for them, for you to feel like you being accepted. And you don't know any better because you're trying to find your place in prison. Whether they attach a gang name to it or they just attaching gang to it. It doesn't matter. Same thing. It's the same thing. And this is what King on. King talking to the young dude, like I said, all the time. He kicking it with him. I see them always sitting down them, talking, whatnot. So I'm thinking like, maybe King got done doing some righteous stuff because his sons are in prison. I mean, like both of his sons. You know what I mean? They're brothers. They both are in prison. King used to always talk about how he used to physically abuse their mom. That's the type of toxic relationship he was talking about. And he talked about it like it wasn't no problem, like it was no issue. That's the one thing that I didn't like about it. Because me, personally, I got a great lot of respect for my mother. In turn, that what gave me a lot of respect for women. That in turn would goddamn make me very, very apprehensive to ever put my hand on a woman, regardless. I'm not like that. That's not who I am. You know what I mean? I promise you, I'm not going to put my hand on no female. So that's how I think. You know what I mean? Naturally, I'm a protective. Naturally, that I got a protective nature. So that's me naturally. But with him, he used to say he used to do all that. So maybe I thought maybe he's trying to, because people would do that. Once you realize your mistakes and start looking at life in a totally different aspect, you try to reach out and make amends with that by giving others, like as I'm doing on this platform, a part of yourself and try to help them navigate for they won't keep bumping their head. So I'm thinking that he was like trying to be a father figure for the young dude, seeing how he might have failed at fatherhood with his children. Maybe he felt that way. But like I said, over time, I know him and King was kicking it real tight. This goes on for a couple of months. Now, me and King talked to each other, like I said. We built a cool relationship and everything. And he pushed up on me. He said, yeah, homeboy, you know I'm finna get out of here. I said, yo. I said, yeah, you ain't got that much time. I said, nah, you know, the folks don't sign that paperwork, folks, through the mail. You know what I mean? Through the council. I signed it to you. Yeah, man, it came back on my parole, man. I'm finna get up out of here. I said, when you leaving? He said, next week. Now, how they work this out is, usually once you parole out, they'll let you out on a Tuesday or something like that. Let me think. I touched on Wednesday. It was like a Tuesday or Wednesday, like midday. They would never let you out in the front of the first of the month in Georgia at that point in time. I don't know how it is now, so don't quote me on this. Don't sit there and jump in my comment talking about, nah, man, I got out of prison. Nah, my cousin. I'm talking about on parole, first and foremost. Secondly, this is 2006, 2007. So I don't know how it works now. You know what I mean? But then I know you get out around Tuesday, Wednesday. Anyway, so he said, yeah, man, I'm in parole. I get out next week. At the point in time, he's telling me that this is like this Wednesday of the week. So it's like middle of the week. I said, so you get out next week? He said, yeah. And they came back, folks kicked me on up out of him. They would do that. Because I think he was in on a drug charge. A lot of time they would do that. When they start realizing they need the bed space, they'll do a mass, goddamn, like on these small time drug cases. Back then. Now they hold you goddamn, but they'll hold you like the last dollar they got. I promise you. And let him go. But then they will let you out. They'll kick you out the system. They'll push you on out. So he was like, yeah, man, I'll forget about him. That what's up, man. But I noticed that he had started keeping with the young boy harder and harder and harder. Boom. So I'm sitting in the room one day. This was like this Friday. Boom. Dude pop off in the room. Dude named DC. Like, D, man, what's up? Like, man, what's happening? We dap up. He like, hey, you got anything in him? I got anything in him? Like, what? He like, I'm talking about in the country, man. Some kind. And folks probably finna come and shake down the door. Come shake down the door for what? What? How you know they finna come shake down? She, man, the young boy, we got Confronting King, y'all. You know, he went in there and stole that like my stuff. Like that. I said, yo. I said, the young boy? Yeah. He ain't been out here that long, man. At the time, I got check that antennas on with him. So I'm like, okay, something ain't right with this. Huh? Now, I have seen that happen before. You know what I mean? Because if you was a thief on the street, then you 9 times out to be a thief from the chain gang. You know what I mean? Because that's how it worked. But the way that he carried himself when he first came in, he was so quiet and kept to himself that I couldn't see him being ultra aggressive overnight. Because he seemed like he was still reserved. The only person that he really would talk to was King. King was the only dude that he was talking to. So I'm like, something ain't right about this, huh, bro? So boom, the room where the white boy stuff slept at was next door to a room with his older cat. Me and this older cat was in the room together when I first got there. I got into it with the police. They sent me to the hole. I came out and I ended up in the room that I was in at that point in time. I walked over there. The old dude used to be got his name Peak. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna, that's all I'm gonna call it, Peak. He was sitting up, cause he always be on the rail like him with his arm looking out. If you go back and check out that first video I did, what's the name? Something changed or something remained the same. When he was like, yep, no, none of that going down here, none of that. That's the old dude I'm talking about. So I push up on him. And I said, what's up, Pete, man? He like, yeah, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I tell you the truth, something always going on up in him place, man. I tell you, goddamn, every time you get a new guy here, something change. That's them young boys, I tell you, boy. Hey, I hope they don't send no more young boys in before I get up out of here, man. I ain't got nothing but little vittles in there. No, my folks don't send me nothing. I had to go around here and sweep, mop, and clean to get myself a couple of vittles. I said, yeah, I understand that, man. But I want to ask you something, though. Yeah, why do you think young dude wouldn't have did that? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to figure out. So I heard about it. He like, I don't know, man. You know how these young boys is, man. He said, but I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah. That king boy, yeah. Being coming down, yeah. The big belly king boy, yeah. What going on with him? I said, I don't know, man. I think he finna bounce, though. I think he finna go. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to be in the business now, but I don't think he got too much more time. Like that. I didn't give him a specific date because, like I said, this is prison. You don't want to tell people if you know somebody finna go home because you never know what kind of mindset before having it. Even though this old man, he can take my information and give it to somebody else, and then whatever issue this person might have with this person, even though Libra wasn't like that, but perception is reality. But you also got to realize this is prison. Prison is dangerous regardless of where you're at. Damn the level. You got criminals all around. But like I said, I walked So he was like, no, because I seen the young boy when he did it. I seen the young boy when he did that. And I ain't gonna lie to you, dude. I won't go in there and tell that white guy who did it. But hell, I think everybody in the dormitory about know it now. If he don't know it, then he don't want to pay attention to that. He fact that it happened. I said, but I seen him go to Ricky King, bro. I said, who is that? He said, the guy King. He went to King, bro. I said, yeah. So yeah, he went in there with King, gave King because I don't call it a name, uh, the goods. I said he gave him the goods to him. Yeah. I said, why in the hell would King? I thought about it. I said, man, let me go holler at this dude, man. So I push on down the hall, down the walkway. So I look at the white boy. The white boy just sitting there, going like the hell, shaking his head like, I didn't know what I mean. I didn't make no eye contact. I just gave him a glance, checked to see, read his judgments. I said, man, I'm this man to go holler at the police and stuff like that. And I did have contraband, which was much. But this only thing about Leesburg, let me tell you. Leesburg was one of those camps that didn't tolerate nothing. Period. I don't give a damn. It's a pen cap, too many goddamn extra pieces of paper. You know what I mean? Whatever. You might have too many tissue rolls, and they'll come take your tissue, man. It was crazy. That was the craziest camp. I hated that place, bro. That was the worst 14 months of my life. I promise you, man. I had to get off and down there at Leesburg, man, because I knew if I had stayed down there, I would have got myself in trouble because of the administration. That place was terrible as far as how strict it was. Considering how the prison is now, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of dudes that's in prison would have took that as a sigh of relief. That a place is actually got done putting that much emphasis on minute BS and major BS and try to got done all that stuff in. But with that said, if you're looking for everything, you're going to miss something. And a lot of times you miss the biggest goddamn obvious thing. But that's another story for another time. Back to this part, him, my stroll down the corner. So like I said, I figured that the dude probably going to tell you. And I'm figuring that you're going to take some L's. You're going to lose something. You know what I mean? I can guarantee you, them folks ain't finna goddamn come and shake your lockdown. And you ain't going to lose that thing. But so I'm heated. So I walk on by and stuff like that. I look in King's room, he's not in there. So I finna holler for him. I said, you know what, this ain't got nothing to do with you, man. Just go ahead and go in your room, bro. But I'm mad. I'm not mad at the circumstances, meaning that somebody's stuff got stolen. I promise you, I'm not feeling no kind of way about that. But what I am feeling the way about is the fact that you have an opportunity as an older person to give a younger person some guidance. But what you do with that is corrupt him. He come to you trying to figure out how to do his time. What the best route he can go. Instead of you got done giving him some game on how to survive, giving him some game on how to be productive in doing his time. How to got done go get your GD, bro. Go learn how to do this. Go learn many trades you can. Go holler at the counselor, man. Woo woo, then the third, try to figure out. Go to the library, go read books. Do all the things that you need to do to build yourself up mentally, spiritually, work out physically. Nah, that ain't what you do. You corrupt him. You manipulate him. You make him do something for you, for your own personal gain. And you don't even need this shit. That's the stuff that killed me. I was so heated. DC comes back in the room. He's like, oh, what's up? Boom. Now, mind you, this is not the DC from ALTO. This is a whole nother DC. He comes like, man, what's going on? And I'm like, bro, what King? You seen him? He's, man, yeah, he down there in my room. Like that, talking to a couple of guys down in his room. Now, Lieber had 4-man room. So I said, hey, do me a favor. Go down there and chat and come out here and holler. Tell me I got something to talk to him about. I need to do something for him. So he got on and said, all right, he go get him. King come up there in the room. I walk in the room. Boom. I open up my locker. I said, man, nigga, you on some bullshit. He said, what you talking about, man? I said, man, why you gonna tell that young dude to go steal something, right? Steal that white boy stuff, man. I said, man, I gotta eat, man. I ain't trying to hear that. I said, but Sean, you go home next week, bro. It's Friday. You got 4 more days, 3 more days. Nigga, you ain't got to drink no water, and you straight. He like, man, I ain't stunned that, man. I ain't, I ain't stunned that. I still got to live until I get up out of here. I said, well, that's my locker here for. Tell him to come take something up out of there. And I ain't gonna do nothing to him. I said, but you gonna see me, my nigga. He said, man, what you got going on? I'm saying, though, folks, you got an opportunity to give this young nigga's game. Obviously, he done took to you. He looking at you like either an uncle or a goddamn father figure in what you do. This man about 19, 20 years old, man. First time in prison. And what you do? You got this man running around here stealing. I said, man, do you know if that man leave this camp and go to one of them real camp, what gonna happen to him? Putting their hand on another nigga shit? Do you know how this shit gonna go? Because it ain't gonna stop with the white boy. Now he gonna start thinking he can get from him. He gonna take from him. I said, you seen Buddy I throw it off the top rail? So y'all heard about it. I said, what you think gonna happen when he putting hands on one of these vets stuff, man? Or he putting hands on stuff that people know he's stealing, some turn up missing one of these vets. What you think these folks gonna do to him, man? They gonna eat this man alive, huh? I said, you ain't gave him that. Why would you do that? He said, man, fuck him. He got to do his time. I got to do mine. If he would listen to me, that's on his stupid ass. I said, but when you came to China game, nigga gave you the game. True or not? I said, man, shit, yeah, but I'm saying it was different then. I said, no, it's no different then than it is now. I said, the only thing you thinking is the consequences are not going to be the same. But you opened up the door for this man to be able to do that dumb ass shit. Now ain't going to take out, he going to go do the bid thinking it's okay to do that. Come on, bro. That's some bullshit. But like I said, you hungry, my nigga. My locker dragged up. Get the white boy shit back. Come eat out of there. I said, man, so you saying I can eat out of there? I said, no, I ain't telling you eat out of there. I'm saying take mine, my nigga. Be a man, motherfucker. And I can send you home with something. So he like, now King wasn't a small dude. By far. You know what I mean? He was pretty big, husky dude. He probably was bigger than me. He like, man, you tripping, man. I'm gonna let you have that home. I'm finna go. I said, man, y'all niggas real sucks, man. And it wasn't just him. And I was saying that for every dude that does that, bro. That bothered me because, like I said, why not? You know that dude don't have that much time. I got a life sentence at that point in time. I had a life sentence at that point in time. I don't know what's my date gonna be, when I'm gonna get out of prison. But it is not one young dude that ran across me, bro. If y'all one of them young dudes that did time with me, man, hit me in the comment, man. Say your piece, man. It's not one young dude. You go back and check out some of the older comments that ain't gonna tell you, huh? That I ain't trying to show them and tell them, like, bro, don't do that. Do this. Don't move like that. Move like this. You know what I mean? Do your time. Don't let the time do you. That type of stuff, man. Not because I'm trying to right some wrong, because I felt like when I came in, was a dude did that for me. Right along with the fact, man, come on, man. We all in a bad situation. I see the dude got an opportunity to get out. I don't know when I'm getting out. But when he get out, I don't want to see him come back with the time that I got. Or even worse, in the cemetery, man. I'm not going to sit here and corrupt this man, man. And I'm not going to allow nobody to corrupt him. If he my partner, I'm going to put him on game. Now, he going to choose to do what he want to do his time the way that he want to do. But he won't say D was the one that put that bullshit in my head. But you know what? None of that would have never happened. King wouldn't have been had that young boy stealing right before he go home. That young boy wouldn't have stolen and gave King all the fruits of his goddamn labor. I wouldn't have been in there in emotional uproar because I seen this old head supposed to be goddamn vet corrupting another young mind. And none of that. If I'd have did one thing, stay out of prison. But I'm gonna still give you a final before I close it here. They didn't shake the dorm down. The white boy didn't even got going do nothing. He just ended up eventually got going sign the PC to tell you the truth. The young dude ended up getting a name for his self-esteem. But that's another story for another time. But until the next time, the homie Big D. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. Hey man, hit me in the comment. Tell me what you think about that. Ain't gonna cost you one Japanese yen. One love.